All right, previously, you created or we created a frequency distribution table, and you were supposed to create two frequency distribution tables per random variable so that you could design two histograms per random variable. So here, my random variable is speed in units of miles per hour. And we calculated all these values that we needed to design histograms. And so, here's the design of one histogram, and here's the design for a second one. But now we want to create histograms based off of these. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select everything, including the name of the random variable here at the top, all the way down to this last cell. And go to Insert Chart. And it's going to try and guess what kind of chart you wanted. Um, and it's opened up the chart editor here on the side. And you can see if you didn't like this chart that it automatically made, we could have just left clicked under chart type and we could have chosen another type of chart. Okay. But histogram, was correct. So we'll leave it as is here. So let me go ahead and maybe drag this down. There we go. And let's start changing some of the parameters that we've got. So um, let's see, based off of this, that's fine. I want to go to customize. And let's kind of go through these customize options, one option at a time, and change what we can. So under chart style, background color is going to be white. The border color, okay, so we don't want this border around the edges. Okay. So we want to take that off. Now, I clicked out and I don't see the chart options in there anymore. But if I hit these three vertical dots here in the corner, I can put edit chart and it brings everything back. All right, so I want to go to customize chart style, and I want the chart border color. Let's see, I guess the best I could do is to make it white. That'll pretty much make it go away. Um, Font, you can change the font if you want. I don't see Times New Roman here, so just go with the default, should be fine. Now let's go to the histogram. Um, Show item dividers. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, the bucket size, that's going to be the width. So the width of each bucket is 10. So it says auto, but I want to change that to be 10. Now, if there was a number here that it didn't have listed like this, so let's say yours was 12, then you can just type in 12 and hit enter. And you can see it goes 0, 12, 24, and so on. So even if you do the drop down and you don't see what you want, you can just type it in. Okay, but mine is 10. All right. Um, Outlier percentile, we don't want any outliers, so just leave that at 0%. Chart and access titles. So let's click on that. So actually, I don't want a chart title. So let's take that off. Okay, that gives us more room. So we don't have to worry about all that stuff. Okay. We don't need a chart subtitle. So here, let's look at the horizontal axis title. Speed. Font is going to be the default. We'll go with that. We'll make it bold. And let's change the size to something larger like 18 point. That looks better. And the title text color, it says auto. We could just make sure that that's black. And that looks pretty good. Let's go to vertical axis title. And And oh yeah, so we don't, oh, so let's add that in. So we'll put frequency, and I'm using lowercase f to be the same lowercase f we used here. Font size is 18. We'll make it bold and just make sure that it's black. All right, that's about all we can change there. And I think, yeah, so we took the chart title off, deleted this. We changed the horizontal axis and the vertical axis titles. So we added those in there. So now let's go down to series. Now series is referring to these vertical bars here in our histogram. And the fill color, let's not do auto. Unfortunately, it doesn't let us choose a pattern. Instead, we've got to use shades of gray or black. So to make it easy to see, I'm going to make it black. Now, line color is an issue. If we made the line color black, it's going to be kind of hard, to see some of these dividing lines. So with the line color, I would just make that white. Okay. Then that'll make it easy to see each of these different classes. Line dash type, line thickness, just leave it at auto. Um, yeah, that's way too much. 1 is probably going to be the best that you're going to be able to get. All right. Yeah, so that's it for series. Legend, we don't want one. So let's just put none. Okay, even though I did put one, but let's just make sure we put it as none. Horizontal axis. Let's see here, the font size. Let's change it to 16 and we'll make it bold. The font just leave as default. The font color, there we go. And the minimum and maximum, it looks like it's based off of the lower bounds here because it starts at 0 and it goes to 150 right there. I don't see how we can really change that too much, to where we could maybe have these positioned in the middle. So the only thing I'm going to do is under slant. I don't want it on auto because it's a little hard to read. Let me put 0. No. Let me try 90. There we go. Let's go with 90 degrees. So we can see this lower bound is 0. The upper bound for the first class is 10, then 20, and so on. Okay. So that's it for the horizontal axis. Let's go to the vertical axis. And yeah, we got to make those numbers much bigger. So let's make the font size to be 16, bold, text color, make sure it's black. That all looks fine. Grid lines and ticks. So let's see here, the vertical axis. So here it's being spaced by 20s. I think I can click, let's see here, spacing type. Should let me hit step. Major count. I want to use step, but it's not letting me. Okay, so under count, okay, this is going to be the number of tick marks that I've got. So just kind of play around with the number of counts, and it looks like a 10 count. Let me try 8. That looks better. So I'm going from 0 to 70, and I've got a little bit of wiggle room here with the class with the highest frequency and the edge of my graph. So for me, going from 0 to 70 looks good. And I would have liked to have been able to choose 0 and 70, but this just works a little differently. Major grid lines. Yeah, you probably do need them here because we can't put labels above, I don't think. Yeah, we can't. Um, sorry, we're under grid lines. So let's make the grid line color black so it'll be easy to see that 60 goes across. And at least we know that this number is greater than 60, less than 70, and a little closer to 60 than it is 70. Um, and let's see here. Yeah, these tick marks, they don't really matter. And we don't need minor grid lines, it's too much. So just major grid lines, I think will probably do it. That'll be fine. All right, and that's about all that we could really change. Um, could put major tick marks, that would be okay. Except we don't want the tick marks to cross the axis. We want it outside. The length is fine. The line thickness, we can maybe make a little thicker so it's easier to see. Now let's make the color black. Okay, I should have done that. Okay, vertical. So, I mean, making, histograms in Sheets is a little easier because there's really less you can control than you can in Microsoft Excel, but that's fine. Okay. Oh, why is it? I guess on vertical axis, I could have put 0 and 70 here. I wonder why I didn't see that before. Okay. So yeah, I can put minimum of 0 and a maximum of 70. I just missed it just going through it the first time. Okay, so I think that's going to conclude making the histogram. The last thing we need to do is to download it. So we want to download it as a PNG image. So essentially what we're doing is um, we're exporting it as in like a graphic format, in a picture format. So all you need to do is just see where it was sent and rename it to something meaningful. So I would probably call this like RV speed for random variable speed, hist2 for histogram 2, and then I would have put K16W10 to show it's for the histogram with 16 classes, each with a width of 10. Um, so that's probably what I would do once I open where it saved it to. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.